Ready when you are.
All right, good afternoon, good evening, everybody, and thank you for joining us for our small business webinar series. We've been so excited to continue to do these throughout this year. My name is Kelsey Maynor. I am the small business advocate here at Invest Atlanta. Now, before we get started, I want to tell you what Invest Atlanta is, because I can't assume that you know. Invest Atlanta is the economic development arm of the city of Atlanta. And what we do is we focus on three kind of pillars in our city, which is community development or housing, where we work with we work with businesses and people and developers and our citizens to make sure they can get affordable housing and that we're building affordable housing in the city. We work in small business development, which we're doing now, and we also work in workforce development. I'm excited to have a great webinar for you guys today because I know everybody that's here is tuned in because you're trying to figure out how to get some money for your business. So what we want to do is make sure we highlight our small business loans team and that we talked about specifically what our small business loans are, how do you get access to them, what are the requirements for it, but more importantly, that we answer some of your questions that you have about our loan programs and if your company is eligible and what you need to do. So we also want to acknowledge that it is still International Women's Month or just Women's Month period. It's always Women's Month, but I wanted to make sure we had two of our greatest ladies that work in our small business team, Miss Cynthia Freeman and Alicia Gasson. They are phenomenal, and they're going to come in here and tell you about our loans today and really answer all the questions you have. We also have some superstars in there as well. If you get to talk to Mr. Lonnie Sabor, they call him the godfather of small business here in Atlanta. And so we're excited to have him present as well. And I think Richard Tolbert is in as well. He's one of our loan processors for Invest Atlanta. So you have the entire small business loans team present to answer all the questions you have about your small business. I know, I forgot. So before we get started, let's do a couple things. Let's talk about some of the house rules. So this presentation that you'll watch, they're going to walk you through some of our loans and the requirements and things of that nature. But we also want to know that if you have some burning questions, just put them in the Q&A chat, and we'll make sure that towards the end of the presentation that we will answer those questions for you. So don't worry if you want to get it out, just type it in there. We're going to address all the questions that are in our chat. And that's really the house rules. Just save it to the end, type it in the chat, and we'll be happy to answer all your questions, either verbally or we'll type it in there. But we will answer every question you have. Miss Cynthia, how are you doing? Come on in here.
I'm doing great, Kelsey, and thank you for that introduction. And good evening, everyone, and welcome to our small business loan presentation. As Kelsey said, I'm Cynthia Freeman. I'm the Assistant Director for Small Business Development. I work closely with small businesses, and I hope one day I'll be able to work with all of you. I'll give you some information. Hold on one second. Trying to switch okay, here we go. All right, this is part of our team. As Kelsey mentioned, Lonnie Sabor is the Director of Small Business Development. I'm the Assistant Director, and we have two other, they're new team members, but they're great, and hopefully you'll get to work with these team members as well. We have Alicia Gaston, who is our loan underwriter, and Richard Tolbert, who is our loan processor. So I hope you all get a chance to work with them. I know you'll work with Richard because Richard is the first line of contact. So before you can get to us, you need to talk to Richard. So remember that name, and we'll provide some contact information for Alicia and Richard at the end of the session. Invest Atlanta has a lot of loan programs, and we'll go through most of them or all of them. However, this month we're focusing, well, this year we're focusing on one of our main programs. It's the Atlanta Recovery Loan Program. Last year, Wells Fargo granted Invest Atlanta $20 million to help small businesses. And with $5.7 million, we established the Atlanta Recovery Loan Program. And as you can see in that name, it says recovery. And the reason why we named it this program, because a lot of you are coming out of COVID. A lot of you had issues during COVID. Some of your businesses had to close down. Some of your revenues went down. And so we decided to create a program called the Atlanta Recovery Loan Program, emphasizing recovery, because what we want you all to do this year and in the years to come, we want you to recover from COVID and make sure that your company can strive and survive the next pandemic. The Atlanta Recovery Loan Program, as I said, is a $5.7 million program. We have 2 years, well, less than 2 years now, we have to the end of 2024 to get this money out of the door. So we need your help to do that. This program has a loan amount of $25,000 to $100,000, interest rate not to exceed 3%, and terms not to exceed 7 years. And we can assist small businesses as well as medium-sized businesses with affordable loans to help you revitalize your neighborhood and to promote business development. Now, there are some unique things about this program that's different from any of our other programs. This program, the Atlanta Recovery Loan Program, is the only program that's for home-based businesses. We don't, in all of our other programs, stay away from home-based businesses. This one, we decided to help home-based businesses. Now, there are some things that you have to do. You have to have been in business for 2 years, and you have to be, your business, your home has to be in a community development impact area. And if you call us, we can explain exactly what that is. I guess the way we can summarize that is to say that you have to be in a disadvantaged area. And the other thing is, this is the only program where the businesses can be located at the airport. So if you're at the airport and you need help, Atlanta Recovery Loan Program is yours. If you're a home-based business and you meet the criteria, Atlanta Recovery Loan Program is the one you need to speak with us about. With the funds, we fund equipment, furniture fixture, inventory, and some working capital. Now, when we say working capital, it's really technology. We can help you with website development, we can help you with software development, and even if you need to purchase somebody to help you with technology, if you have to hire someone to help you manage your technology, we can help you there. The other working capital items are off limit for this particular program, but we have other programs. If you're needing to hire an administrator or hire someone else in your business, we have other programs that can help you with working capital. And last but not least, if you are participating with a bank for your project, for this particular program, we can fund 10% of the total cost of the project up to $150,000. This program is a part of the Wells Fargo programs as well. It's called the Atlanta Commercial Down Payment Assistance Loan Program. We have in this fund $3.5 million. And again, we have till the end of next year to get this money out the door. This program was designed to help small businesses from being displaced. I know a lot of you rent space or lease space, and the landlord might decide to sell the building, and the next thing you know, you're out of a space. So this program was designed to help you purchase a space so that you can avoid displacement in the future. Now, this is a direct loan, 20% of the total cost of the purchase of the building and renovations, up to $200,000. The minimum is $25,000, the maximum is $200,000, with interest rate of 1% to 3%. Now, the good thing about this particular program is we can amortize, this is a 10-year loan with 6 months deferment before the first payment is due, but the loan is amortized over 25 years. So what that means is you'll have lower payments in the first 10 years. Now you'll have a balance at the end of the 10 years, but if you're in good standings with Invest Atlanta at the end of the year, at the end of the 10 years, guess what? The balance of this loan may be converted to a grant. And so that's a game changer for anybody that's interested in purchasing real estate in the city of Atlanta. Now, as I mentioned earlier, we have a lot of programs. We have the Atlanta Micro Enterprise Loan Fund, and that's for those of you who are considered street vendors. The city of Atlanta has to approve you as a street vendor, or you have to approve you as a kiosk operator. And if that is done, you can get up to $50,000 to purchase your vending cart if you're a street vendor, and you can have up to $5,000 to operate your kiosk. And the good thing about this particular program, there is a 0% fixed rate interest. And you also have 6 months deferment before you start the first payment. Now, the Atlanta Forward Loan Fund, that's for those of you who are early startups, early phase startups. That means you're operating out of an accelerator or incubator or co-working space in the city of Atlanta. There is a part of this program, though, that you must meet. You have to at least be enrolled or have graduated from a capacity building program. And when I say capacity building program, that's a program where you've taken a 6-week or an 8-week or a 10-week course where you're learning how to operate your business. The Atlanta Forward Loan Fund is anywhere from $5,000 to $20,000. Interest rate 2% fixed. Now, I know you're noticing the theme. The theme of our programs is low interest rates, and you'll see that throughout all of these programs. The Community Loan Fund is our next program, and that is 10 to 50%. This is a citywide fund with interest rate of 3% fixed. Notice our interest rate so far has not exceeded 3%. There are some that may go to 4%, but we will stay anywhere from 3 to 4%. We will never go over that 4%. Now, we provide funds for existing companies through the Community Loan Fund, but just like the Atlanta Forward, you have to be enrolled or have graduated from a capacity building program. And we can share information about those programs at the end of the slide presentation. We'll have a list of organizations that provide capacity building programs. This is for working capital, fixed assets. It is also for the Community Loan Fund. This is the only one where you can pay down high interest debt. So up to $30,000. If you borrow $50,000 on the Community Loan Fund, up to $30,000 can be used to pay down high interest business credit cards or high interest business loans. Now, the next program is the Business Improvement Loan Fund, and this is the godfather of all of our loan funds. So this is the one that was established early in the history of Invest Atlanta and the city of Atlanta. Its interest rate is anywhere from 1 to 4%. It encourages the revitalization of the business districts that are I guess we call it disadvantaged areas. This is one of the few programs that's available to commercial property owners as well as small businesses. And then the Phoenix Loan Fund, this is a citywide fund. So if your business is in Midtown or Buckhead, this is the fund that's for you. It's anywhere from $10,000 to $100,000. It's private financing of 67%. The Phoenix Loan Fund, the applicant will have to put in 33%. It provides loans for construction, privately owned commercial property, purchase of equipment, furniture, working capital. But the one thing about the Phoenix Loan Fund, you have to retain at least one job. And now we have the Atlanta Catalyst Loan Fund. This was a loan, this was funded by a subsidiary of Invest Atlanta. The amount is $50,000 to $100,000. This is the loan fund that was created to spur job creation, economic development. And also for the Atlanta Catalyst, we put those businesses that have a social impact into this fund. The Opportunity Loan Fund, now this is not for startups. Opportunity Loan Fund is for businesses that are taking their business to the next level. It's up to $200,000. Interest rate 1.5 per prime plus 2%. And I think right now prime is at 7.7%. It supports job creation as well. It's gap financing for small and medium businesses, creating jobs. And for existing companies, startups are not eligible for the Opportunity Loan Fund. This is for existing companies that's taking their business to the next level. The Empowerment Zone, anywhere from $50,000 to $200,000. Interest rate 0 to 4%. Provide small business funding, and also this is the only other program that's for property owners. And then last but not least, Invest Atlanta is not a CDC, but we do support the Small Business 504 loan program. This is for small businesses that are purchasing property to operate their business out of that property. It involves a certified development corporation, which puts in 50% of the total cost of the project, a bank, which puts in 40% of the total cost of the project, and the applicant has to inject 10%, and that's where Invest Atlanta comes in. We can help the applicant with their 10% so that they can free up their cash to do other things and get a part of the funding from Invest Atlanta. Now, like I said, there are a lot of programs that we have, and as a business owner, you don't have to remember everything that I just talked about. And that's why we're here. That's why I'm here, Alicia, Richard, Lonnie. We're here to guide you, to make sure that we put you in the program that best fits you. Now, you as an applicant have to do your part as well, which means that you have to apply and you have to hit the submit button so that we can help you get to the funding that you need. And I'm going to turn it over to Alicia right now, and she's going to talk to you about all of I say all, but it's not a whole lot. She's going to talk to you about the different documents, the items that you're going to need to get through the application process.
All right. Hello, everyone. I'm Alicia. As Ms. Cynthia stated, I'm the small business loan underwriter. Now, you will work with me, but as she stated before, your first contact will be our amazing loan processor, Richard Talbert. And he's going to be the one when you put in your application and submit these documentations, he's going to be the first one that takes a look at all your documents just to make sure you have everything. And if anything is missing, he'll be the one to let you know and advise you. Now, once you click the submit button and Richard has let us know like, hey, this applicant has submitted everything, it will then come to me, the underwriter, in which I will thoroughly review all your documentation, just to make sure everything is, sufficient and you have everything. So just getting started, here's our application checklist. Now, of course, we broke it down from section A to E. So in section A, it talks about your personal information. So of course you have your loan request application form. So when you go and put in your application, of course, it'll ask you which loan would you like to go with, just based off the information that you found, and whatever information that you found that you feel works for you, you'll select that loan. Now, I will tell you this, just because you select it don't mean it's the best fit. It's our job to determine which loan is best for you. Now, once you put in your loan request application form, what we will also ask for is a management resume. When we say your management resume, we're talking about your resume. The same resume that you would, if you were applying for a job, you would give us, right?
Okay, it looks like we lost Alicia. So I'll start until she can get back. So the management resume, and like Alicia said, you all should already have a management resume. It's the same resume that you use when you apply for a job. And the reason why we ask for this, if you're going to open a restaurant or if you're trying to open a retail store, we need to know that you have the experience to get into that type of industry. The personal finance, you back?
I'm sorry, Miss, yeah, my internet, not today. I told him not today. We got things to do. I'm sorry. Woo. All right, I'm about to give AT&T a phone call.
Personal, you can start with personal financial statement.
Okay, so when we talk about your personal financial statement, each business owner will have to provide a personal financial statement. Now, I don't know how much I have to stress this. On your personal financial statement, of course, it'll ask you about your assets. It'll also ask you about your liabilities. It is very vital for you to put the accurate information. I understand some people feel like they don't feel comfortable telling people all their business. A lot of people are, well, why do they need this information? We need your information on a personal financial statement because that's our way of determining your net worth. So your net worth is going to be your assets minus your liabilities. That let us know where you stand financially and if you can actually service the debt if approved, right? So the personal financial statement, that document is also available to you online when you're applying, all right? Now, section B, business plan and projections. Now, with your 2-year, we do ask for your 2 years financial projections. Another document that is very vital. And I advise people, if you're not sure of what your business can possibly bring in, I would highly suggest going to a professional such as, in which I'm sure someone will bring this up, going through ATL in business and speaking with a consultant, because we want your business to, we want to help you, but we also want applicants to be realistic and show, just be realistic as far as with your financial projections, right? So we will ask for those. The next thing that we will ask for is your 12-month cash flow. If you're not sure of what they mean by a 12-month cash flow, that's pretty much the breakdown of each month, right? For say your first year. So if you were to take your 2-year projection, right, and take the first year, year 1, you will break down each month projections, right, from January to December. That's your 12-month cash flow projection. Then we also ask for your narrative assumption to financial projections, pretty much explaining how did you come to these numbers, these financial projections and so forth. You will also have to complete the sources and uses form. That form is also available on the website when you go to apply. On this form, you have to put whatever your total project is. So if your total project costs $300,000 and you want to borrow $100,000 from us, Invest Atlanta, you would of course put where you're getting the other funds from, whether you're injecting money on your own, and then we will have a line that says Invest Atlanta where you will put the amount that you want to borrow from Invest Atlanta. And if you are attaining funds from outside of Invest Atlanta, you will also put that. So, and it must equal to whatever your total project is. All right. So that form is a must. If it's not done, of course, Richard will reach out to you if it's not done correctly, and he'll let you know what corrections need to be made. And then of course, there's your business plan. To be completely honest, as an underwriter, that is one document that I know me as an underwriter, outside of your financial projections, that I'm going to look at, because your business plan is telling your business story. So it is very important to have that document. And if you need help with the business plan and a lot of other documentations that we have, once again, you can go through ATL in business. is atlinbusiness.com. You will click on open for business, and then of course follow the process to get a consultant with which they'll be able to help you. And if you have questions about that, we'll have someone put that in the Q&A as well. Now, the next we do have is section C, which is again your financial information. So if you're an existing business, we're going to ask for your profit and loss statement. So as we know, there's 4 quarters in a year. So if you were to say apply in April, when you apply, we're going to ask for your profit and loss statement from January 1st to March 31st, 2023. All right. If you are a new business, of course, you would not, and you have not started yet, and you're looking to start up, of course, you would not have a profit and loss statement. But if you are an existing business, we will need that profit and loss statement. And once again, on that profit and loss statement, I don't know how much I have to stress this. It is very important to be accurate and honest with that profit and loss statement, because once again, that let us know where your business stand at financially, right? And then if you are an existing business, whether you've been in, say if you started business in 2022, we are now in 2023, it's tax season, we will need your 2022 taxes. If you have been operating longer than that, we will ask for the last 3 years of your business taxes, as well as your income statements and balance sheets, right? Of course, once again, if you are a startup, a new business, we don't expect you to have your business taxes, because once again, you're a startup, right? But whether you're a startup, just beginning, or existing business, we will ask for your last 3 years of personal tax returns. And we need all the pages. And that helps us see, so when you apply, even though you're applying for a business loan, it also helps us see what else other income you may have outside of your business. And that's very important, because that's also vital to, as far as your ability to service debts. All right. Then we have section D. Now, on section D, it just depends on your situation. If you are purchasing real estate, we will ask for a copy of the proposed real estate purchase agreement, right? If you're purchasing. Franchise, we will ask for a uniform franchise offering circular. Once again, if you have a franchise or so forth. Once again, if you have a franchise, we will ask for a copy of the proposed franchise agreement or a letter of approval from the franchisor. Now, if none of those apply to you, that's fine. But all businesses, especially if you're leasing, we're going to ask for a copy of your existing or proposed lease agreement. Now, when we say proposed in some of these documents, we understand that you may need the funds in order to say, sign your lease, or you want to make sure that you get approved for it first. But if you do get approved for one of our loans, before you can close on it, you will have to provide the executed lease agreement or executed real estate purchase agreement, right? So you will have to provide those documentations in order to close. But when you're first applying, if you have a letter of intent or a proposal, that will work when you first apply. All right. Now, we will ask for, if you're doing renovations, purchasing, whether it's inventory, equipment, we will ask for estimates of equipment, contract estimates if you're doing construction projects, a list of inventory items. If you're using the funds for inventory, we will ask for those documentations. And then depending on which loan program you may decide to go with, or if depending on which program we decide may fit your business based off your needs, you will have to provide a bank decline or a commitment letter. All right. And remember, all our programs don't require that specific document. It just depends on which loan program you go with. Right. And then the technical assistance organization support letter within the last year. Now, Ms. Cynthia, on that one, number 20, she maybe can elaborate a little bit more on that one. If you're wondering what does she mean by the technical assistance organizational support letter. And then section E, we will need label pictures of the business location, exterior and interior. We will need a City of Atlanta business license. Now, just real quick, say if there are a lot of businesses that operate in the City of Atlanta that do not have their business license. We understand that. Even though I feel like every business should have a business license, we understand some people are told they don't need it. Well, to get a loan with us, you will need your City of Atlanta business license. So when you first apply, if you don't have it, we understand. But once again, in order to close on the loan, you will have to provide, if approved, you will have to provide a City of Atlanta business license. So yes, your business is probably already located in the City of Atlanta, or you're looking to open up a business in the City of Atlanta and you may not have your City of Atlanta business license, but you will have to have that license in order to close on a loan, any loan that we have, if approved. And then of course you would need your standard Georgia Secretary of State documents. So if you are a corporation, we would need your articles of incorporation, or a partner agreement for corporation or partnership. If you're an LLC, I think it's called a certificate of organization. We would need those documents, pretty much your Georgia Secretary of State documents. And if you are not a US citizen, you would have to, of course, provide your resident alien status card, which is also called your green card, all right? And also we will ask, and we always ask businesses, and some people say no, but then they always come back after, if they get approved and we do, the basic search, the lien, we will do a lien and judgment search. So we do, and that doesn't mean that you will automatically say, well, oh no, but we need to know if you have any liens or judgments. So when they ask that, please be honest. And we do that so we'll know if we can help you, and if we can, what steps need to be taken. And I know the application checklist sounds like a lot. I know, but guess what? It's actually not, especially when you have the support to get those things in order. And as I said before, we have ATL in business. They are phenomenal at helping our applicants get some of those documents that they need in order. They will help you throughout with the application process. And once again, like I said, we have Richard Talbert. He's awesome. He's phenomenal. If he see it and you click submit and he look at your documents and it's not right, guess what? He's going to reach out to you and let you know, like, hey, this is what's wrong. This is what needs to be done. We're not just going to say, well, this person didn't do it right, decline. Nope, we do not do that at Invest Atlanta. We do not do that. We are here. We are really a family, but we are here. We're here to help small businesses pretty much stay around longer. And hopefully you might get big enough, you might not be a small business anymore. You might be up there with Johnson & Johnson. We're gonna claim it. But Richard is here to help you. And then if he have any questions, he'll go to the one and only Lonnie Sabor or Cynthia Freeman or even me. We just need y'all to click submit. And if you have questions about those documents, you can still reach out to us. I'm gonna let Miss Cynthia take over, but we will have our information in the Q&A. So that way, if you want to reach out to one of us directly before you submit the application, just to ask more questions, we're here. We don't want to turn anyone away. We're here to help everyone if we can. All right. And Ms. Cynthia, if you don't mind, can you please elaborate on the technical assistance organizational support letter within the last year?
Okay, and thank you, Alicia. You did a fantastic job. So in section D, item 20, the technical assistance organization support letter, that is for those applicants who are applying for the Atlanta Forward Loan Fund and the Community Loan Fund. As I stated when we went over the summary, that those are the only two programs where you have to be enrolled or you have to have graduated from a capacity building program. And those programs are usually administered by what we call a technical assistance organization. And so at the time that you graduate, they will provide you with a support letter recommending you for our program. You're going to also have to get, under those two programs, a certificate of completion and also the program guidelines. If you have those three items, then you'll be eligible for the Atlanta Forward Loan Fund or the Community Loan Fund. Okay, so thank you again, Alicia, for giving us that thorough breakdown of the application process. The first step when you leave here today, if you're interested in our loan program, the first step is to take an online small business loan seminar. And at the bottom down, you can see the website. You'll see the link that you can click on, and that will take you to step one, which is the seminar. And then in that seminar, Lonnie goes through the entire application process again, very thorough. So you can start there again, get all the information you can before you go to our portal to apply. And then step two is to apply online through the Neighborly portal. And once you click submit, that's when the clock starts, because before then, prior to you hitting submit, there's nothing we can do for your application other than just answer the questions that you have. But once you hit submit, then that's when Richard and Lonnie and Alicia and myself start to really work with you and get you to the proper funding that you deserve. So when I talked about the technical assistance providers or capacity building programs, you can reach out to any one of these organizations. You can reach out to the Small Business Development Center at Georgia State. Now, they don't work with startups, they work with existing companies. So I would say if a startup, stay away from that particular organization. But the Urban League of Greater Atlanta, which is the item 2, they work with startups and existing companies. SCORE Atlanta, this is an organization that's funded by the Small Business Administration. So they work with early stage startups as well as existing companies. So if you're really early stage, I would say start with SCORE. And then the Georgia Statewide Minority Business Development Center, they work with existing companies that who have revenues of millions of dollars. So if you're in that category, then I would say go to the Georgia Statewide Minority Business Development Center. Now, this is the cream of all of them. The ATL in Business website, this is a website, and these consultants are managed by Invest Atlanta programs. So I would say, let your first stop be ATL in Business. And like Alicia said, if you're working on your application and you need help with your application, you can go to atlinbusiness.com. You're going to see two sections. You're going to see the ATL in Business, and then you're going to see Open for Business. If you're working on your application and you need help with your profit and loss statement, or you need help with your 2-year projection, then go to the Open for Business side, and they can help you with those documents and help you get through the application. Now, if you're okay with that, you have everything you need, but you want somebody to look at your business plan or help you with your marketing strategy or help you with your branding strategy, then go to ATL in Business, work with one of the consultants to help you with that program. Before we go, and before I turn it over to Kelsey, I would like to say 2 things. For those of you who are on this call, based on what the Small Business Administration says, the majority of you will fail before you even get started. Some of you will fail 2 years within your business. You will fail 5 years within your business, most of you will not even get to 15 years. But that's the doom and gloom of your starting a business. The good news is that it doesn't have to be that way. With proper planning and proper funding, all businesses can succeed. And that's why Invest Atlanta is here. Through ATL in Business, we can help you with the proper planning. And through the Invest Atlanta Small Business Funding Programs, the loan programs, we can help you with the adequate funding. So I invite all of you, when you get off this session tomorrow or this afternoon, reach out to one of us and we'll provide you our contact information. Reach out to one of us on the small business team and get started, get some information, try to get your funding in place, and let's get you all to being successful in this year and all of the years to come. Kelsey, it's yours.
Listen, I want to say thank you so much. I didn't have to stop y'all not once and be like, hold on, slow down, run that back. Y'all going too fast. I'm not understanding y'all. That was very thorough, and I appreciate that. Because usually I'm like, hold on, you just throwing out stuff. You said CDC, what is that? But you explained it, so I'm glad, because by the time I wanted to ask you the question, you had already answered it. So I'm thankful. That was very thorough. I appreciate you guys so much. There were a couple of things I do want to bring up though. When we were talking about home-based businesses, did we make mention of how business loan terms mirror the terms of their leases?
No. Okay, so for the home-based businesses, well, let's put it this way. If you're in a commercial space, the terms of the loan will mirror your lease. So if you're in a 5-year lease, we can spread your loan payments over 5 years. If you're in a 3-year lease, we can spread it over 3 years. It won't exceed the lease terms. If you're in a home, it would be good if you own that home, that would be good. But if you're in a home and you're renting, then we will take a look at your project. We'll take a look at your past activities, and then we'll make a determination on how long the terms of that lease will be. I mean, terms of the loan will be.
Okay. I know that's come up several times, so I wanted to make sure I asked that question. But great job again. I do want to go now. If you got any questions, I know we have about 7 questions in chat at this very moment. But if you have any questions regarding what they presented today, any questions about small business loans, if your business is eligible, please put those in the chat. And we're gonna go to the chat now and start looking at the Q&A and see what the questions are and if we have the answer to it. So the first question says, we have applied for the recovery loan. Our business revenue is very low. Is there a chance we could get the loan?
Yes. The answer is yes.
Oh, yes.
But in order to apply, you have to have hit the submit button, because we don't look at any program, any application that's not submitted. So if you've applied and you've filled out all the paperwork and you've provided your existing revenue, but you've also provided information about your projections, because that's really what is important. What are your projections after you get this loan? We take into consideration your past performance as well as your future performance. And then we make a decision as to whether or not you can service the debt of the loan. And if you can't, say you ask for $50,000 and we determine that you can't service $50,000 in debt, we can work with you and maybe you can service $30,000. So hit the submit button first. Let us know that it's there. Reach out to us, give us your case number, and then let us do some preliminary evaluation. And then we can tell you whether it's okay for us to move forward with you or for you to go to ATL in Business and get some help to get yourself in a better situation and then come back to us.
Wonderful. Our next question is, and we get this a lot too, if you qualify, can you participate in multiple programs if you stay within the program qualifications?
We don't, because our funds, we're trying to fund so many people, we try not to give anybody 2 or 3 loans at one time. However, if you apply for a loan, you get approved, and then you pay down your loan for say a year, you're in good standing, you decide, okay, I need to expand some more, then if you're in good standing at that point, then we can help you with additional funding.
Got it. Now we have a question from one of our Open for Business consultants, and they ask how many of the documents are generated on spreadsheets. What is the diligence of that they need to do in order to tie those numbers to source documents? That makes sense.
Let me try to repeat it. So they have a source and use of, they have a source and use of funds statement on an Excel spreadsheet, and they're wanting to know, should they move that document to one of our documents? Is that the question?
I think they're saying that a lot of the numbers are on spreadsheets. They're asking, do they need to tie those numbers that are on the spreadsheet to source documents? Saying just because you came up with that number, do we need to have the document to show where we got those numbers from?
You need a narrative assumption. That was one of the documents that Alicia talked about. Is this called a narrative assumption? So you got your revenue for your first year, then tell us how you got your revenue. And it's important too, say you're a retail store and you say in my first year, my revenue is going to be $100,000. Then it will be good if you can tell us you derive that $100 by determining how many customers you need to see each day and how much that each ticket needs to be, and then how many you need to see each week, each month, and then how many customers you need to see each year to get you at that $100,000. So you don't need to give us a full-fledged spreadsheet or anything, but you do need to do a narrative assumption, which is kind of like a Word document saying, in order for me to get this $100,000 revenue, I need to see so many customers each week, and each ticket needs to be this much, and that sort of thing. It's more like a story than the actual source documents.
Got it. We have another question. It says, what type of numbers are a minimum to qualify for these loans? For example, how much should they have made in their tax returns on their P&L?
I can answer that, Miss Cynthia.
Let's do it.
Well, the honest truth, what you actually made, it just is no certain number. Like say if you maybe made after expenses 30,000, that doesn't mean you won't qualify for a loan. It just help us see how much you would qualify for. So if you only made, and we don't go by, let me get this clear, on your taxes, we don't go by your revenue. We go by your net income after expenses. So when we look at that, we look at your net income. And so if you're applying for a $100,000 loan, but your net income will say 19,000, right? And it was like that, say the last 3 years, then you may not qualify for 100,000. Like Ms. Cynthia said, we might say, okay, you can't qualify for 100,000. However, we see that you can service 65,000. So there's no set number, because like she said, we do look at your past, your current, and your future to determine whether or not if you could service the debt. So there's no fixed number as in like, well, you got to make at least 50,000 after expenses. We don't have like a set number that you have to have made as far as your net income in order to qualify for one of our loans. Like I said, hopefully that answers your question.
It should. I know a lot of times they try like, so what number do I need to put on this paper so I get this loan? You said this. Put the truth.
What's the truth?
Now, Kelsey, the one thing I will say, the key to it is servicing the debt. So it really doesn't matter how much revenue, what your net profit is per se, but when we calculate the debt over, say, for over 5 years, and we look at your year 1 and your year 2 and your year 3 and 4 and 5 projections, and that bottom line net profit says that they can't service the debt,
Mhm.
then you're out automatically. But if there's a potential for you to service that debt each one of those years of that loan, the loan term, then it's a good chance that you will be you will be approved.
All right, the next question says, is there a credit score requirement?
Okay, so there's not a credit score per se, but we look at your credit history. So you can have a credit score of say 500, say 550, and we would look at that in total. We pull your credit report and we would look at that total history, and we would see that say in 2019 you filed bankruptcy, or say in 2018 something happened. We require you to give us an explanation. What happened in 2018? What happened in 2019? And a lot of times it's because the person may have gone through a divorce, or the person may have lost their job, or the person may have gotten sick and have some medical issues during those years. So if you can give us an explanation and you can explain thoroughly what happened, but what we do want to see is past that 2019, past that 2020, we want to see you recovering. We don't want to see you continuing and standing still in that space. We want to see that in 2019, I had some medical issues and I got into trouble. But 2020, I started recovering. 21, I'm recovering. 22, I'm recovering. We want to see that entire history of what has gone on with you personally.
Okay, good. The next question says, about how long is it? I know they're saying the application process, but I believe they're saying once I apply for this loan, what's the time limits on getting funding?
Okay, so we the way our process works, once you apply for the loan, you hit submit and we take a look at your application. We don't approve your loan. We have a credit review committee made up of 7 bankers who have to meet each month to review and to approve. So say, for example, you hit submit button in April. We may not be able to take your application to the credit review committee until May. If we take it to them in May and they're approved, then I would say give us another 45 days to actually get that approved loan from approved to actually closed. So it just depends. The timing is actually when you submit your application and when we can get it to the credit review committee. Now, a lot of it depends on you too, because if your loan is approved, there's going to be some due diligence items that you're going to have to do in order to close the loan. And some people will send them a list and say, in order to close the loan, you need to do A, B, C, D, E, and then you would take another 30 days to get the information to us. So now you're pushing your closing back further and further and further. So once you're approved, we send you a commitment letter saying you've been approved. Now we need this additional information. And once you get that list that says we need X, Y, Z, then you need to start working for X, Y, Z, and you need to get it to us in a timely manner, because we cannot move forward with closing until you provide all of the due diligence items that we requested.
Right. Okay. Next question says, are you able to apply for a loan if you already have the existing unsecured loan?
Yes. So once again, remember that personal financial statement sheet that we were asking for? When I say it's going to ask for your assets and your liabilities, well, that unsecured loan that you have is going to be a part of your liabilities. And then also when we pull your credit report, your Equifax, if it's under your personal, we'll be able to see it. If it's on your business and not on your personal credit, of course, it'll be on your financial statement. So we do include that when we do your cash flow analysis to determine. So even with that debt, we'll take it into consideration, look at the debt, like if you were approved for the Invest Atlanta loan, would you be able to service our debt? including your other debts. So that even includes your unsecured loan.
Okay, we got two questions in here. One of them, both of them are a little complicated. So this one says, I currently have a bakery in East Point. I've been in the current location for 13 years, and we did about $1.4 million last year in sales. I'm looking to purchase a larger building, and the city of East Point is trying to provide bond finances to keep that business in the city. How can they find a location in the city of Atlanta if they want to build a place? But I don't have a business license in Atlanta. How can I structure my plan to acquire a loan to build a location without having a business license in the city of Atlanta? So pretty much they're saying they have a business in East Point and they're considering moving it to Atlanta. Can they use our down payment assistance program and other programs we have to move their business from East Point to the city of Atlanta?
Okay, so the down payment assistance program was designed for existing businesses in the city of Atlanta to avoid displacement. So your business will be an outside business. You'll be coming to East Point, from an East Point into Atlanta. So we decided that we're getting that kind of situation a lot. So what we decided is that we would have to take a look at your project or any project like that, any company that's coming into the city on a case-by-case basis. And once we look at your project and we determine, yes, this is a good fit for Atlanta, then there's a possibility you would qualify for the commercial down payment assistance program, but there's no guarantee that you will.
Okay, all right. The other question was, I'm trying to figure this out. It says, what if my business is a home-based business, but not in the city of Atlanta, but my business license is in the city of Atlanta. We would like to buy real estate in the city of Atlanta. Can we apply for a loan? Can I try to answer this one?
Yeah.
Just a couple things. So if your business has a city of Atlanta business license, then that business license will be associated with a commercial property of some sort, whether that's a co-working space. It won't be a PO box, but it'll have to be some type of maybe a virtual office or something like that. So it wouldn't necessarily be considered a home-based business since your business is not in the city of Atlanta. So if you have a city of Atlanta business license, that initially allows you to be eligible for some of our programs. Now, if you're applying for a loan, Miss Cynthia, you got a business license in the city of Atlanta and you're applying for one of our loans. How does that work?
So
Is business license enough?
Yeah, you have to be in a commercial space in the city of Atlanta. You have to be, in the case of a co-working space or an accelerator, they do qualify, but they have to, just like any other commercial space, it has to have a lease. Now, I'm not sure why they have a city of Atlanta business license. They have to be, are they operating out of a commercial space in the city of Atlanta, even though they don't live in the city of Atlanta? Because you don't have to live in the city of Atlanta to apply for a small business loan, but your business has to be operating out of the city of Atlanta in a commercial space. So I'm not sure why they have a city of Atlanta business license.
Right. I didn't want to dig too much. They got a business license. I didn't want to dig. I didn't want to put anybody out. But for the person that commented about the East Point business, if you could, I think we show, if our slides still up there with our contact information. If not, you will get an email recap of this webinar with a link to the presentation that we did and all of our information on there. Please reach out to us because I'll be able to give you some more resource and more information about your business and getting that business in the city of Atlanta. So stay tuned for that. I didn't want to leave you with no answer. I definitely, there's a possibility and some resources that we could help you with. Let's just talk about it in more depth. Now it's 7 o'clock and this is the first time we almost went over.
I want to communicate you guys right now. I appreciate you so much. Thank you so much. Ms. Cynthia, Alicia, thank you so much for doing this webinar. It was very informative. I think we learned a lot. And then please expect a lot of emails because I know a lot of people are trying to get some money. But I want to let you know before this happens every month. We have webinars every month, and we want to make sure that the webinars are specific to what you all need as small businesses. So the more you communicate to us about what you're in, what you need, and what you're questioning about, we'll put a webinar together so we can communicate that. We'll bring the resources and the experts right to this webinar to explain to you what you need to know. This month, we are ending this month of March with an in-person network mixer next Thursday from 6 to 7:30 at the Russell Center for Innovation and Entrepreneurship, right there on 504 Fair Street. If you go to investatlanta.com, scroll down the homepage to events, you can RSVP for the in-person network mixer that's happening on March 30th from 6 p.m. to 7:30 p.m. Also, you will see an update next week of our business webinars and our network mixes for April. Stay tuned for that. I'll be coming updated next week. Stay tuned. I appreciate you guys so much. Again, you will get an email with this presentation and all of our information. If you need something from us, reach out to us. We would love to help you out and continue to grow your business here in the city of Atlanta. Thank you so much. You have a great evening.
Thank you, Kelsey. Okay.